Hi, third graders. We are doing the comprehension questions for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory today. Today is going to be maybe a little bit more work than normal. So it's going to take us, it's about 3 pages, but I'm not going to make you do the entire writing for this one page. So don't stress out about that. You are in the packet, our normal packet, and go to the page that has our characters on the sides and some lines to write. We had read chapters 13 and 14, and in chapter 13, we see the start of the day, where they are all going to see Willy Wonka's factory. Now, when Charlie's Wiener is being described as being chaotic and there's people everywhere, and the other 4 kids, which here we have Augustus Gloop, Mike TV, Veruca Salt, and Violet Beauregarde, they both, all 4 of them, brought 2 parents with them, and they were going kind of crazy. They were pushing, shoving, like the parents were physically holding them back so that they couldn't run to the gates ahead of time. And Charlie's sitting there quietly with Grandpa Joe. He only brought Grandpa Joe, and they're sitting there very quietly and patiently. So that's kind of a difference that we're seeing between them. And in this chapter, it kind of reviews what we know about each of these characters, which is good because that's going to be part of this today. So I'm going to go through and kind of remind you, and your job today is to write on these lines some words that describe each of the characters. And since I'm being nice, and there's quite a bit of writing for this one, I am going to write for you to copy. I'm feeling very generous today for you. Now, chapter 13, they talked about Augustus Gloop. Augustus Gloop is a large boy. He's described as being fat, and I'm not a huge fan of that word, but we'll use it because that's how the author describes him. And he loves to eat chocolate. So those are some of the words that we could use to describe Augustus Gloop. Now, if you have others that you would like to put there, feel free. There's 2 more lines, and you can add a couple more things about Augustus Gloop. He's also described as round and enormous. One of those words I was telling you when we listened to the story last time, start using those bigger words. So actually, you can write enormous here. I like that word if you want. I'm going to make you write 3 things. Mike TV is our next character. He's the other boy besides Charlie. And Mike TV is how they spell it. He loves to watch TV. Okay? He also has toy guns, like strapped around him. Okay? And we could also describe him as being maybe a little rude to others. Now, rude is a word that we might most likely will be using a couple more times. So you feel free to add more or less to those. So maybe there's something you remembered about Augustus Gloop or about Augustus Gloop or Mike TV. My brain just kind of stopped on me there for a second. Now, next is Veruca Salt, and this is where we kind of get a little confusing. Veruca Salt, Violet Beauregarde, me, 2 V names, not exactly easy to remember who is who. So Veruca Salt is the girl whose father owns a peanut factory. So we put dad owns factory. I'm trying to make it short for you because I can hear the complaints already. It's too long. And you're not even in my classroom, but I can hear them. So I'm going to shorten it as much as I can for you. So her dad owns a factory. Now, she is very rude. And she's selfish. She wants everything to be her way. She wants it her way, and she will cry and throw a tantrum unless it goes her way. So that's kind of her. Now we have Violet Beauregarde. Violet Beauregarde is the last girl. She loves to chew gum. Loves to chew gum. She has been chewing it for 3 months. Okay? So, and we could probably, her last thing, I said 3 for each, but we don't have a ton of information on her. We could just put for her last one, constantly, which means always. You can put always instead, if I guess. Chewing gum. Okay? So those are the 3 things about each of our main characters. Now, I guess I should have reminded you, pause as many times as you need to, so don't rush with this. You most likely have been pausing on your own. I hope you didn't get super frustrated and go, oh my gosh, she's going too fast. You can pause the video, especially now. I'll try to get them all on one page. I'm using this dot camera, and it's tricky for me to use. Okay, there. They're all on one page. Hopefully you can see them. Pause it here so you can see them all, copy them, and then move on, because guess what? We've got another page to do about Charlie. So when you're done with those, you have all of them written down for those 4 characters. Turn to the next page. And here we have quite a bit of space. Now, our first task is to describe Charlie. We're going to do that together. I'm going to write, you can copy. Then, the last part of the question, you are going to do on your own. So, some ways that we could describe Charlie, and we're going to use full sentences for this one. We could say, Charlie is kind and compassionate. Compassionate means that he thinks of others. Okay? He likes to help others. So he helps others. And then we could say his family is poor. Now, if we look at Charlie and what we know, his family's poor. They don't have a lot of money. And he is kind, he's caring, he thinks of others. How is he different from our other 4 characters? How is he different from Augustus Gloop, Mike TV, Veruca Salt, and Violet Beauregard? Are they super nice and kind? Or are they more mean? Are they from poor families or rich families? So I want you to add 2 sentences now. So I want you to add 2 more. Okay? Add 2 more sentences about how you think Charlie is different from the other characters in the book. So just add that on to our paragraph that we've already started, and then you have your 5 sentences for today, for this story. Now, we're not done yet. In chapter 14, the last chapter that we read today, we learned more about Mr. Willy Wonka. So he had come out and he was super outgoing. He's like, nice to meet you. Great to see you. Hi, my name is Mr. Wonka. Like, very energetic, very nice, and just like outgoing. And he's kind of a little, I would use kooky as the word, which means like strange. Some also words we can describe him. He has a goatee, which is that little hair on his chin. And he's wearing a purple jacket, green pants. So those are some words that we can describe him. So in these bubbles, I'm going to do 3 with you. I want you to do the other 3. And the other 3 that you put, we're just putting on words, adjectives. Adjectives are describing words. Words that describe Willy Wonka. So they could be what he looks like. They could be how he talks, about his personality. So like I could describe my cat, since you've all seen him now. My cat I would probably describe as crazy, orange, because he is orange in color. I would say he's large. Some people might call him fat, but he's a little bit large. I could also describe him as friendly or sassy is a word I would use. So I'm describing his personality and what he looks like with large and orange, but also what his personality is by sassy and outgoing. So you can do the look and how the person is. So some that I had said were energetic, which means he has a lot of energy. Outgoing, which means he will talk to anyone. And, I'm going to put creative because we do know he's created a lot of candies. Creative. Now, I did some 3 about his personality, so now you could maybe describe what he looks like or add more on his personality. So you need to fill in these 3 on your own of what words we could use to describe Mr. Willy Wonka. Now, as they go in and they enter this big factory. And they're going through kind of like a maze. They're going left, right, left, taking all these turns. And it's noted that as they're going, it's kind of like they're walking down a ramp. So they're not walking on flat surface. It's kind of tilting down. And someone mentions, why are we like kind of going down right now? And he goes, oh, there's not enough room for all of my stuff and to build up, I had to build down. He's like, you just need to hollow out the ground. So he hollows out the ground, digs holes basically, and he makes it so that he has all these rooms that are the size of football fields. So we had talked about like that is a huge space, football fields underneath ground to hold his factory. And as they were walking, they're seeing all this stuff go on, and they stop outside a door that says the chocolate room. And this is the first room that we're going to see in the story. And this room is going to give us some more information on the workers and some of the inventions Mr. Willy Wonka has created and what his world looks like in this factory. Because it's not a normal factory. If you've seen a factory, you kind of know there's lots of machines. This is not a normal factory. So we're going to kind of see that. And just, it's crazy big, and it's really hot because he said his workers will die if they don't have the heat. They're used to very, very warm climates. So it's all around like a strange kind of like what's going on feel going with this. We're not quite sure. I know some of you have seen the movies. There's 2 of them. But they're different than the books in a little way. Okay, so then you have 2 questions left for today. This is the last thing for today. These 2 questions. So fill in these and do these 2 questions. Then you're done with the stuff for today. A little bit longer, but we're a little easy on you. Number 1, why did Mr. Wonka build all of his important rooms deep down below the surface? I just kind of gave you a little review on that. Remember, they're the size of football fields, so was there enough space above ground for all of them? So write 1 sentence for this one about why he built them below the ground. Pause whenever you need to. Like I said, I keep forgetting to remind you. My brain's shut off, I think. And number 2, how do you think Charlie feels as he follows Mr. Wonka down the corridor of the factory? So how do you think he's feeling as he's taking these zigzag and he's seeing like this a lot of weird stuff go on? How do you think he's feeling? Especially with what we know about Charlie, where he's kind of like, he's shy, he's timid, where he's like, oh, I don't know, like he's not as outgoing or as crazy as the other kids. So how do you think he's feeling? There's not going to be a correct answer for this necessarily. It's your opinion. How do you think he's feeling? So as long as you write me a sentence, you've got that correct. Just do your best to make a prediction on how you think he feels. That is all you need to do for today. So finish up copying our information on each of the characters. Add your 2 sentences about how Charlie's different. So copy this and then do your 2 sentences on how Charlie's different from the other 4 ticket winners. Copy these and fill in the last 3 circles to describe Mr. Willy Wonka, and then answer these 2 questions right here. If you have any questions, call me in Google Hangouts, email, message me in Google Classroom, and do your best. If you would like, you can send a picture of your work to me or call in and say, oh my gosh, can you believe what's going on? I hope you're all doing well and have a great rest of your day. Bye.